Good morning, Herdsurf. Today we're speaking with Braydon Moreno. Braydon successfully ran a Kickstarter campaign back in January of 2012 to help fund the manufacturing for the RoBo 3D printer. Over the course of their 45-day campaign, they were able to raise just under $650,000 with the help of 1,251 backers. The RoBo 3D is a low-cost, open-source, easy-to-use 3D printer to help bring your ideas to life. The beginning hobbyist all the way to the advanced professional can use the RoBo 3D to build iPhone cases all the way to model homes. Today we'll hear about the RoBo 3D story and how they're helping bring our ideas to life one layer at a time. Thanks for having us, Braydon. How's everything over there?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Cool. So, see you're in your car.
Yeah, I apologize for my car. The office is too busy, so I need to get out and get some quiet if we're going to do this interview. People are in there building all sorts of things. So.
I'm sure it's pretty hectic in the office. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, so Braydon, why don't you give us a little, background on yourself? And I know there's two other co-founders, and maybe you can give a little bit of information about them as well.
Yeah, I was a graduate at San Diego State University. I was an entrepreneurship major, actually originally a marketing major, and then I went into the entrepreneurship program there. Have a little bit of digital marketing background. I worked for a company for a little while on that. My business was, so I handle most of the sales and marketing in RoBo 3D right now. And then my business partner, Kobe, is basically a biomechanical engineer. That's what he graduated with. So he's done half bioengineering and half mechanical engineering. And my other business partner is sort of the handyman / operations guy here. We all went to San Diego State. We're all graduates of there. Go Aztecs.
Nice.
And so all three of us together have made a pretty good little team here.
Absolutely. Cool. So you guys just knew each other back from college and kind of started that deal for RoBo 3D?
Started on a napkin. That was the first idea. Two of the business partners were talking about it at work, and it was something that was already out there, and they said, this might be a cool idea to build ourselves as a hobby. I found out about it. I'm like, what do you mean you guys are just building a 3D printer? And they made it seem like it was something completely normal, and I was in awe and shock that they were doing this. So I got really excited about it, and we kind of put our heads together. We looked at the industry. We tackled a bunch of different problems in the industry, and we're able to build our model. So it was a really good experience thus far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where did the idea spur from? Was it just kind of you guys were
Well, it was actually one of my business partners, Kobe, was in his program, and they were working on prosthetic limbs using 3D printed parts. And at school they have one industrial printer engineering, and there's all these kids trying to use it. It really backed up and backlogged, and so it was kind of him to say, hey, I found out about personal 3D printing, and he wanted to get into it, so he took it upon himself to really put the idea together. And he partnered up with my other business partner, Mike, and they started building it from scratch. And so that's kind of how the whole idea spawned. And then when I came on board and I found out they were doing this, I kind of put the whole package together. So did a ton of market research. We looked at what was going on in the space. We talked to people on forums. Instead of spending $2,000 for a machine, which they were at the time, we basically built it for people like us that wanted an affordable option to get into 3D printing. It's a basic model, but it gets the job done. And that's what we're going for. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the RoBo 3D, why don't you tell me a little bit about the features and kind of what differentiates it from other products on the other 3D printers on the market?
Yeah, the RoBo 3D printer is really just we built it like this. It's your basic model. It doesn't have a lot of the bells and whistles, but what it does is a really good job at printing. It does quality printing just like 100 micron is like the standard. It's 0.1 millimeter layer heights in between, so it does that type of printing, which is amazing quality. That's the same stuff that the $3,000 machines are doing. And it has a really big build volume, which is also a selling point. We have a 10 by 9 by 8 build volume, which is 720 cubic inches. That's pretty much all over double what the average in the industry is as far as build volumes. So that's one of the things we really wanted to focus on too, was make sure that people can build big objects in the machine. So that was one of our big selling points. And then we really crafted a look and a design that is much different than what you see out there. And we thought that was, something that we can help kind of craft the brand that we're trying to go forward with, and, create some fresh technology. That's what we were trying to do. We looked at the space, and it was a really creative space, but there was sort of a lack of creativity in design. And so kind of, harnessed our energy on, making sure that we were creating a design that was built out into our brand. So
absolutely. And I suppose the low cost was definitely a kicker for the selling points.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. Sorry, I talked about the low cost a lot, but building a machine for, starting at $600 retail for a 3D printer, people you don't see that very much. There's very few that are lower even $1,000. So, and we source parts. I mean, the machine's not like a crappy machine of why it's affordable. We actually source parts like crazy, and I had multiple people bidding on certain parts, and parts are starting to come down now just because the hype for 3D printing is going up. So it's just always staying on your A game as far as getting the correct parts, getting the quality parts, and getting the price down. And we took some risks in certain areas to reduce the price, and it ended up working out. So
wow, that's good.
Yeah, we made a good machine for the price. It's a really, really good machine. It drives the necessary combination of price, quality, and value is what I tell everyone, because that's really why we built it.
Absolutely, got it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's exciting. So, for the whole, people trying to key in on the entrepreneurial story, when, where did it come in? When, when you the idea came about, but when would you say, like, you realize, okay, this is something we got to pursue, forget getting a college job after, or postgraduate job, forget that. Let's just pursue RoBo 3D. Is there a story behind that?
I had a college job after, and then I left that. The first time we saw the machine print, I'll remember this day. I have actually a video of it on my phone. That very first time we got it moving and printing, and it printed like the piece was just terrible quality. It was like just throwing plastic all over the place. But that part was where we, kind of formed that passion for 3D printing, and we looked at it like, oh my God, we can do this, and that's what kind of led us into putting all the pieces together, getting the Kickstarter launched. And then when we launched the Kickstarter campaign, it was, let's hope we can get to our goal. That's what we were praying for. That's what we were talking about. We're like, we'll really see if people are, are interested in buying this product. And, and in the first 24 hours, we raised half our goal. And so that was sort of when that happened, we're like, okay, we're going to hit our goal. So we got to go, if we're going to do this, let's put our hands together and let's make it happen, and let's grow this business and do whatever it takes. So that was sort of the kick, I guess, was that first 24 hours of the campaign. Okay.
And so how long, that whole going from, okay, I saw this work, this is something we can pursue. How long was that development process, I guess, from idea all the way to, we need to start raising money, we need to make this into a business? Yeah. Can you...
Yeah, that was about a 6-month process.
6-month process?
Yeah, just to get from the first... the whole process was probably, God, it was a while. Yeah, I would say close to a year. Just working on it and, finding out more about the technology and diving into the space, see what people are doing, see what's working, what's not working, find the right parts. That whole thing took a long time. But once we got it printing, from the time we got it printing and then to actually refining it, that was probably a little bit less of a process. I would say that was a couple of months, maybe 3 or 4 months. And then, we launched a Kickstarter campaign. So that 3 or 4 months was really, from when we got it first printing, was really just, okay, now we know it can print. Now we know we can do what we wanted to do. Now how do we refine it to create the quality that these other guys are printing at, if not better? And so we took, every step we could to get it to that, to that process. And then designing it and all that stuff came into that exact same picture.
So were you guys self-financing it during that period?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good. Yeah, it only took us $1,000 to start the business.
Wow.
Yeah, we got creative on some of our builds, and then the first CNC prototype we did of the actual machine, because we launched a Kickstarter campaign with only one machine, and that first prototype we had of the machine we got done fairly reasonably priced. So about a little over $1,000, and we got the whole thing started, the Kickstarter campaign. So you don't need a lot of money to actually get everything together and launch a Kickstarter campaign, which is awesome.
That's awesome. Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess, when did you guys decide, all right, we got a product. I think we have a business, and I think we're able to scale it. Well, where did you decide crowdfunding? Why did you decide to go on to crowdfunding?
We were following some other 3D printers that were on crowdfunding at the time, and there was starting to build the hype for 3D printing. And it just so happened that crowdfunding was sort of the platform that was driving it. And we saw some other 3D printers that were successful before us, and we were like, we have a better printer than these guys. So we're like, let's try this avenue out. Let's see if people are interested. I mean, Kickstarter's interesting because you're really putting your product out there, and there's a big difference between someone saying, hey, I like your product, and someone saying, hey, I'm going to put my hard-earned money into your product.
Right.
So we got, that was an idea for, when we talked about it, it was like, hey, let's put it on the table for people. If they're going to put money forth and wait the time it might take to wait, then we know people want our product. If they don't, then maybe we need to change some things, get some feedback, and work on it, and then try a different route to actually, launching the product. But so we it was one of those things. We built out the campaign, we got accepted, and we just pressed go. We said, let's see what happens. If it's not successful, we'll figure something out. We'll make changes, and if it is, then we'll go full force at it. And so, luckily, it ended up being a successful campaign.
So you mentioned there was actually other 3D printers on Kickstarter Kickstarter. Was this nervous for you? Were you guys like, does this make you anxious? Like, okay, there's already products on the market. What are we going up against?
Yeah. No, it was an opportunity for us. We timed it actually. Really, we were only 3D on Kickstarter for a period of about 30 days. So we timed it right in this little gap, and it ended up working out for us. But we were keeping track of all the 3D printers out in the market. I mean, before we even got into the space, before we even were like, hey, we're going to build a 3D printer and try and sell it, we looked at everything that was out there. I mean, all the products in the personal space, even the industrial. We're looking at what the technology is in the industrial. What are people doing in personal to make up for what the industrial guys are doing? And so we knew the space very well, and we made the product around. We kind of carved out this little area in the space for us, where you're not spending $1,500 for a machine. But you're also not spending like a really cheap price, and you're kind of right in this little middle gap, and you're getting what you want out of a printer. Yeah, you don't get an LCD screen and things like that, but if you want to get into 3D printing basic, you don't need that stuff. You use your computer anyway. So we just kind of picked and choose. We put a list together of like, what are our must-haves, what are our wants, and we kind of just picked and choose what we were going to do, and we got it done in the machine. So, and we knew when we were launching that we had a better offer than a lot of the other printers that have been on there. So
that's good. So you're pretty confident going into the Kickstarter campaign.
We were hoping. Yeah, I mean, we were confident in our product and the fact that we were offering a great value product. It was just, I mean, you never know. You just launch it, and you just
when you launch, go.
You just go and you hope people at least give you some feedback. If they're not happy about it or they don't think it's going to work, and we got feedback on both sides. I mean, we got people that said you're never going to build this machine for this price. Actually, my favorite story is a guy. He emailed me at the start of the campaign that exact thing. He said, you guys are never going to make this machine for this price, and no one's going to ever get their product. And I still remember this email just because it was like this big, long email. I mean, that was just the Cliff Notes version of it. But and then I got an email from him when we started shipping our first product from Kickstarter, and he said, I can't believe, and he said, a curse word, but I can't believe you basically did it. And that email, those two emails, was the only time I ever heard from him. That was like one of the most fulfilling moments for me, weirdly, was that this guy, and I don't know who this guy is or anything about him, but I just remember his email, and I remember him sending me an email after that, like, I can't believe you guys did it. And so that's kind of how I felt when we started it. It was like, wow, we went through this whole process, and now we're delivering product to people, and they're like using the product and like making cool things with it. And so that was really satisfying.
That's good. That's actually really, that's an interesting story. Thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah.
So when it comes to crowdfunding, there is quite a few platforms on the market. I guess, why did you decide to go with Kickstarter?
Yeah, Kickstarter was the big one at the time. Kickstarter already had the 3D printer buzz there too. Printerbot was the guys that really had the big successful campaign before us. They raised close to $900,000 with their machine. It was a really affordable machine too, and so there was already people that looked at Kickstarter for 3D printing.
Okay.
And so that was sort of why we went with that route. We looked at the Indiegogo, and there's some other Fundable's another one I believe that does it. And there's quite a few actually now, but there's some other platforms. But it just made sense. Kickstarter was like the first movers in the space, really, that kind of said, hey, we're doing crowdfunding, and this is what we're about, and we're creating successful campaigns. And so, for us, it was sort of a no-brainer to use them.
Got it. So, did you have any challenges getting accepted to Kickstarter? I've heard some other crowdfunders actually get denied. So, did you guys have any hiccups getting accepted to Kickstarter?
Yeah, I've talked to a few people about crowdfunding. Actually, a lot of people about how their process was getting on. The 3D printer was just, actually, we only made a few small, we sent in the campaign, they sent it back to us. They're really inefficient at how they do this, but they'll like send it back to you and say, hey, can you change this one thing? And you'll think you're ready to go after that, and then you'll send it back to them, and then they'll send it back again and then say, hey, can you make another change? And they'll just keep doing that process. It'll be like a 3-week, 4-week process, if you're lucky to actually get on the platforms. So, it was an inefficient process, but we ended up getting on within, actually we sent our campaign in and it only took us 2 weeks to finally get approved. So it was pretty quick. I've done another Kickstarter campaign actually that took a little bit longer, to actually get on, but, it does take a while.
Right.
You gotta really make sure you're telling your story, that you're not using it as a pre-ordering platform, because they hate that. They don't want it to look like it's a pre-ordering platform. They want you to look like you're a company that really needs the people to back you up to get your project up and running and to get your business moving. So we had to change parts of our video, and we had to change parts of our actual layout of our page. And so you want to create a story around what you're doing. We're a couple of guys that started on a dining room table building a 3D printer, and now we were able to build this cool machine, and now we're seeing if people are interested in, helping us take it to the next level, and that's what we sold ourselves on pretty much.
Nice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I guess basically the main point is make sure you're telling a story when you're submitting. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, they hate if you're like, hey, we have this product and we want to see if you guys want to buy it. That's not what they're going for, and they'll probably deny you if you put off that kind of vibe. They want to see like the steps you took. I mean, we had pictures from our first prototypes all the way to our final product, so they want to see those steps. They want to see the napkin you started drawing your idea on, if you have that. Right. So the steps along the process to where you are now. Yeah.
And you'd say, so the story is obviously mostly about the product, but also the people behind the product. Give some information about their story and their background.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it's important to tell about your story and how you guys got involved together. How you formed the team. What's your strengths and advantages, and just put everything on the table. And this is why we need Kickstarter, and this is why we need people to help us move forward. And that's usually they're accepting of that kind of structure.
So you said definitely transparency is really key in this.
Yeah.
In the Kickstarter ecosystem. Got it.
Yeah, people like the transparency. I mean, people they look at you like a more honest campaign if you have that transparency. There's plenty of campaigns that launch on a Kickstarter, and it's sort of, they give off the wrong vibe, and people think it's a scam. And you obviously don't want to go that route. You don't want to look like you're a scam.
Right.
You want to look like you really, and then they just chew you out on the comment sections, and all of a sudden no one's buying your product or taking their bids back because they think you're a scam because other people are convincing them you are. So yeah, just putting everything on the table. I mean, we even had a tough time with it. The people want everything. When you Kickstarter's a tough. I mean, it's like sort of like a wild animal zoo. I mean, so many people are hitting you with so many different questions. I want to see this. I want to see this. I want to see this. It's really hard to keep up with everyone. And if you don't satisfy them, they start talking. And so it's a difficult space. It's you got to get in there with your boxing gloves up and ready to really go after it. I mean, you put some time and effort into to really stand up on all the backers and doing what they ask you to do and making sure that that you guys are keeping them informed on everything, throughout the process. So. Got
it. So, can you go in a little bit of the preparation for the campaign? I know, obviously, you need to make a video, you need to have all the marketing content, and you need to have all the pledge levels. I guess, what did you spend, I mean, maybe the most time on, or what would you say is like the most important?
The video. The video tells your story. The video is what draws people in emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people buy into emotions. You know, if you have a very compelling video, you have a great story, you have a great product, a great reason behind why you built the product.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people buy into. They don't buy in what the pledge levels are.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even like rarely do people even read all the stuff that you actually put on your campaign page. Most people are clicking that play button at the top and they're watching your story, and that's enough to convince them, hey, these guys sound like stand-up guys, or I don't want to put money into this campaign because I don't think this is ever gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
What they're saying. So, and yeah, we got both. We got people that took away their pledges; they thought it wasn't gonna happen. We got people that gave us bad feedback. So, you just, the video is what I would focus on more than anything. I think that's hands down the most important part. Okay. And then creating some value in the end for the customer. Creating some stretch goals, things that people can realize that you're shooting for, so they can help promote you to get to those levels, because they know if you get to those levels, make whatever they're pledging better. And we did quite a few stretch goals, and people were pretty excited about that. So
got it.
Yeah.
So going into the Kickstarter campaign, was there any like blogs or books or like specific information, or maybe even past projects that people have done that kind of helped you along the way, or even inspired you? Is there anything that you could share?
Yeah. I actually talked to Austin over at Jambu Headphones. Mm-hmm. He launched a Kickstarter campaign before us, so he gave us a lot of insight. That was awesome for us, because he went through it right before us, so we understood what was going on in the campaign, how to leverage your campaign, how to leverage the marketing side of it. So he gave us a lot of great advice. I talked to a couple other campaigns as well, and really found out what their story was. I emailed a few people that just had other campaigns in like technology, and found out how their campaign went and got a little bit of advice. People are always willing to give advice about Kickstarter just because they know what the hard, the pain points of it are, and they know what's great about it. So I got a lot of good feedback before I even went into it. So yeah, it's just talking about campaigns is really, I think, the most valuable thing, because you can read books and you can go figure out how to market your product, but Kickstarter is not quite as traditional as that. It's sort of a different way of getting your product out there, and you got to be creative. Okay. You got to be very creative in how you're doing it. So
gotcha. So for the most part, you educated yourself just kind of with other projects and firsthand conversations with other people who have done crowdfunding campaigns. When you went through the campaign, did you guys just handle all the video creation, marketing creation, or did you guys have any outside help?
No, we did it all ourselves.
Okay.
Sort of like building this 3D printer. We're just like, hey, it'll look more authentic, if we do it ourselves and make it seem like we're a couple of guys like really working our butts off to try and get this thing going. And so that's sort of the vibe we went with it. Our target audience was like the tinkerers and early adopters, people that want to get into technology that might want to use it like for hobbyist sakes and stuff like that. So when we talked about it, we're like, this might appeal more to our audience, to be these guys that are just doing everything themselves, rather than getting a professional type thing done. That works in other areas. I mean, there's some great campaigns that have absolutely, you can tell these guys put a lot, absolutely killer videos. Especially technology videos, blown out views, and they probably got some great people behind them. But we were looking at doing just a little bit more of an authentic feel. It ended up working out pretty well. But yeah, we did it all ourselves. But it really depends on what your product is and how you want to come across, and who you think your target audience is, and who do you think is going to be buying your product, and kind of looking at what other products are in that space, and seeing how their videos are, and what can you improve upon, or what did you not like about the videos, and so we did that as well. We looked at other technology products, we looked at other 3D printers, and it kind of had that vibe. So that's what we went with.
Got it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your actual funding goal. You guys asked for $49,000. Would you say it was an adequate goal for you guys?
No. We set it low.
Okay.
We were prepared if we hit our mark. We actually had an angel investor that was going to put in the rest of the money to get us kind of like moving.
Okay.
Because he's like, yeah, if you hit your mark, then I could see that there's some opportunity in this space, so I'm willing to put in some money to help you get you going. And so we're like, okay, we're good if we hit that goal then.
Okay.
So that's how we set the goal. We wouldn't have had enough money just from the goal to actually do what we wanted to do. So
okay.
Yes, so we were basically seeing, how's the traction going to be right off the bat, and if it doesn't look like it's going to be something, then maybe we should reconsider on what we're doing, or do something, do a different route as far as launching the product, or add some features, or take a different step. But it wasn't enough.
Okay.
Usually you go way above your goal, or you go below it, or it's rare that you're going to get just like exactly what you need. So you'll start to see how it picks up, and then you can kind of judge off that.
Okay. So what kind of I guess for your sake, what calculations went into it, or is it kind of like this is what we're going to go for? And
yeah, it was just X amount of printers. I mean, it was close to, I think, 100 printers was what it would have been if we hit the 49,000 goal. And so we're like, we can do 100 printers. We actually had a guy that was going to work with us. He did molding for spas, like jacuzzi tubs.
Interesting.
And he was going to help us. Yeah, he was going to help us. He's over in San Diego, and he was going to help us actually build the prototypes of the encasing and stuff. We got to that point, and then then we ended up doing a lot more. And then he's like, I can't help you guys on that scale. I can help you on a smaller scale, which we would have pretty much came out even on that scale, which was fine because we just want to get our name out there and see if people were interested in the product. But he couldn't, when we ended up selling as much as we did, he couldn't help us on that level. So then we had to change our entire marketing or our manufacturing strategy.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So your campaign was 45 days. Was there any strategy behind that, like length of time? Or was it just kind of like, because the most you go to is 60 days, why didn't you go to the 60 days length?
Yeah, we went back and forth about this. We talked about this a lot. I wanted to do 30 days, actually. I didn't want to do 45. My vote was for 30 days because I wanted it to be like a really quick in and out thing where people, felt entitled to get it in that 30-day window. And if they didn't, then, they're missing out on an opportunity to get a great product at a great price. So that was what I was going for. And then, other people were like, hey, let's do the 60 days. And so we had it all over the board. So it was sort of like some 30, some 60. Okay, let's meet in the middle. Let's do 45.
Okay.
And that's how we came up with the 45-day campaign. So, it was just us talking and kind of just making sure that we're okay with, everyone's on the same page. Like, we're okay with that number of days. 60 days is a long time. I mean, a long time. Then you have to worry about people. You lose momentum in 60 days.
Yeah.
You lose momentum after 5 days. It's, get that original hype right when you launch the product and people start buying it, and then it starts to taper off, and you see that in a lot of projects. And so if you let those drag on like too long, you just completely lose that momentum, unless you're on top of it and people are writing articles about you all the time. But it's rare that that's really going to happen,
right? Unless
you're really like a revolutionary product. But I the 45 was a little long. It ended up working out. It was okay, but I think 30 days is the money point.
Yeah. Okay.
You grow that hype. You have 30 days to get it done. And then you can always launch another. You can do, if you do a Kickstarter, do an Indiegogo for your same product.
Got it. Yeah, I mean that's what I see. I see anywhere from like the 30 to 45 range. It seems like it's a pretty adequate amount. I guess in your case, you guys got funded after 1 day, so maybe even it almost seems like if you went longer, you could have got more orders, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we could have gone 90 days, and who knows what would have happened.
Right.
We could have even raised the same amount in 60 days. The last day, we tapered off for sure. And the last day is when you get that big, that big crunch, because people are like, oh my God, there's like 20 hours left. I got to get in on this campaign or not do it. And so you get a big kick at the end. That took us, the last day was just a killer day. We were watching the timer for 8 hours straight. Just
wow.
Go down. And, it was crazy. We're getting emails, like people were and we're like, wow, this is unbelievable. But yeah, we could say we would have gotten more orders at 60 days, or we could have tapered off and slowed down and got the same amount of orders or less. So,
well, it seems like the launch day and the ending day are kind of like the highlight days, right? Would you say you got your most orders in those 2 days?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, well, actually, in the middle of the campaign, we were fortunate to have a Japanese blog write an article about us, and we sold about 60 printers to some Japanese customers in one day. So we did have a big like random spike in the middle there.
Oh, okay.
But the first day, you're a new project on Kickstarter, and a lot of the active Kickstarter members look for what's new, and so you get a lot of visibility right off the bat, right when you launch, and then. Yeah, the end of the campaign, everyone's trying to get in, and then people are notified like, hey, if you're following this group or anything like that, then you only have like 20 hours to buy, and so that's usually when people hop in last minute.
Right, got it. Okay, so what about your contribution levels? I counted you at 23 of them, quite a few.
Yeah.
What? I guess what was your most popular one?
Well, the printers are the most popular. The ending reward, that's what you have to have in there. We wanted to create some type of movement up the ladder, not just have like a $25 reward and then a $600 reward. So we wanted some move. Rarely did people even buy much in the middle. There were some fun ones we did. We did like a 3D printed bobblehead, which was pretty cool in there, and so we did have a few people buy that. But most of the people either got the T-shirt. We got a lot of T-shirts, the stickers, or they bought the printer. And so, and the more rewards, the reason why we have so many rewards is we kept, as tiers were fulfilled, we kept pushing back our estimated deliveries. So, we had the first tier that was like, estimated delivery that we under projected by way too many months. And then we created tiers after that for the following months. So we kind of fit like, I don't know, it was like 50 or 100 printers in each tier. So that's why so many.
Oh, I see. So it was like kind of like a limited supply tier.
Yeah. So for August to just every single month as you go forward, we had like X amount of printers that we wanted to fit into those months. So,
okay. Nice. Yeah. So I mean, I see with the contribution levels, you get them all over. Sometimes there's only like 5 or 6, and then for some, obviously, the more the merrier.
Yeah. Give people options. People and get creative on those. Obviously, those are. I mean, the bobblehead was something we came up with. This could be like a kind of a cool little reward that people might be interested in. So, and all they had to do was download an app and take a 3D image of their face, and then they just sent it to us, and then we were able to print it out. So, being creative in the rewards is good. I mean, everyone sees the same stuff. They see T-shirts. They see. I know we did sort of the same thing in the other campaign I did. It was a little bit different, but the T-shirts and the keychains and stuff are all good to have in there, just as fillers for people that just want to like keep up to date on what your project is doing, and so they want to feel like they're a part of it, so they're willing to put in a little bit of money to get you going. So you want to have those things in there, but also like if you can be creative, if your product's like creative product, then definitely throw some of that stuff in there. Really think it through.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the actual funding period. During it started, you get the hype, it's exciting. I mean, what was it like for you guys? Were you, sitting in front of your computers all day? Were you writing emails to family members? What kind of, what were you doing on a day-by-day basis, would you say? Yeah,
one of the things that I wish we did do, before I get into how it was, is that we didn't take a lot of time we got a little anxious on starting the campaign because we saw that gap in the 3D printers, and we're like, hey, this is a good time, let's go. Some people build up the hype even before they launch the campaign really well. So that's something I suggest to anyone doing Kickstarter campaigns or Indiegogo, any of the sites, like get out there and start doing press, start emailing press, and start trying to get a little bit of buzz before your product even launches. Set a date for I'm launching on whatever the date may be. If it's a month ahead of time, set that date in stone, and then start emailing press and saying, hey, it's a cool new product we're doing, or whatever it may be. We're launching this date on Kickstarter, and then they're more willing to write about the stuff up and coming. So you can get a lot of press before you even launch. That means the minute you even kick that start button, then you already have people waiting, and you already have a little bit of buzz around it. And even do like a website launch page where people sign up to a newsletter of when you launch, and then you just blast out an email to everyone the day you launch.
Okay.
That's something we didn't do. So if I went back, I would do that again. What was awesome is we launched a campaign, and I think it was like the first 2 minutes we launched a campaign, because we all were talking like, hey, we want to get the money into the pot before, or right when we launched a campaign, so we can look like we have some people buying our product. Mm-hmm. So we were all talking about putting our own money in there, just like get it going. And so we got we pressed the start button, and then my business partner Kobe called me like 2 minutes later. He's like, "Are you like Will something?" And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" He's like, "You didn't like just buy a printer as like Will something?" I'm like, "No, dude, I didn't buy a printer." He's like, "I think we just sold a printer." So we're like, "Oh my God, no way." And so we're like jumping around, like all excited. And then it happened like while we were on the phone, we got another order, and it was like, and I asked him the same question. I was like, some other person. I'm like, "Are you so-and-so?" And then he's like, "No, dude." And so we're just like, "This is crazy." Buy our product.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was really interesting. It was, God, I mean, your heart's racing the entire time. Because you get emails every time someone pledges. And so you're just, your phone, once you get those emails, you're just like, "Oh my God, this is awesome. People are buying our product." And so it was a very, very, it was an addicting experience to kind of have that stuff. So that sort of fuels you into, okay, now I want to take everything that's going. Now that people are like, I see some opportunities here. Now I start blasting it to the press. This is what's going on. This is our product. And we crafted a really good email. We ended up getting a Mashable article, which is pretty big. So that really helped us. And
was that just by you guys sending out an email, or did you guys kind of get lucky there and they picked you up?
Yeah, you got to get creative. We did a few things. I tweeted at a few people. I found like editors of certain things. The girl that wrote about the Mashable article had written on other 3D printers, and so I kind of went into Mashable. I found the 3D printing articles, and I found that the people that were writing those articles and emailed them directly, or I tweeted them on Twitter. Just a little bit of a different approach. Even like, I mean, if you want to get even crazy, I might even be able to do Facebook and hit them up on Facebook and message them there. But yeah, it's just direct emailing saying like, this is our product, doesn't quite work.
Right.
So, you got to find people that are specifically writing about maybe your industry or products like yours, and really target those guys. That's important.
Did you guys have a actual like press release, or did you kind of just hit up the editors and tell them a little bit about it?
I did it all. And I did it all personalized, so it wasn't. Yeah, we didn't do like a big press release to a bunch of different articles. I had actually a big article list from someone we knew, or not article list, a big editor
blog
list. Yeah, so and all the names of the editors of all the magazines or all the different blogs and all that stuff. And so I wrote to them all personalized rather than. And I found out like the articles they read or the articles they wrote, and I was like, "Hey, I read your article. Like, it was a great article. This is our product." And so I spent a lot of time, finding out who these writers were and trying to appeal to who they were rather than just blasting out like one massive thing to everyone. And that works for some products. If you have a product that's just crazy unique and cool and no one's ever seen anything like it, yeah, send the press. It's going to save you a bunch of time. People are going to see it and be like, "Oh my God, I want to write about this." But sometimes you got to dive in there and really show that you're a unique company. Rather than just a unique product, and that's so we were trying to get creative in certain areas like that.
Okay, did you spend a lot of time like hitting up friends and family? Oh
yeah.
I mean, looking at your product, it is a little bit more. It's kind of a niche product. Not every person. Your grandma probably wouldn't buy a RoBo 3D printer. So was it? Did that friends and family thing work out for you guys very well, or was it mostly like a lot of like, hitting those direct like tech blogs, for instance?
Friends and family, they helped out, and they didn't buy printers. Actually, well, one of our guys, his parents bought them. My family put in some money as far as like the T-shirts and stuff like that, but they're not. I mean, when you have a $600 product, it's really hard to get your friends and family to want to buy one, especially because a lot of them didn't really know what the technology was or how they could use it. It was still really new, and so they looked at it like, "Oh, this is a cool product, but I'm not going to use it." And so the people that were really buying it weren't our parents. They weren't those kind of people. They were sort of the people that wanted to, like the hobbyist markets,
right?
Thinkers. I want to get into 3D printing and use it for prototyping or other sorts of things.
So I guess that's where the smaller rewards came into play for you guys.
Yeah, most
Okay.
definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, we blasted out. I mean, we all got on our Facebook and we were blasting out to everyone. And this is our product. Check it out. Like, if you could like pledge some, even a small amount, that would be awesome to help us like kind of get this whole thing jump started. And, yeah, we got a lot of friends and family on those lower rewards and helping out, and everything helps. Every bit helps. Gets you that much closer to the goal, and so you just you do what you can as far as the friends and family goes. Obviously, if you have a product that friends and family, it might be a more inexpensive product. That's cool. They probably put in the money to back that, but ours is just a little bit of a different product.
Right. So it's per product, I guess.
Yeah,
So
we sold like 50 T-shirts though. That was cool.
oh,
I couldn't
nice.
believe that. Yeah, so we shipped a lot of T-shirts. So that was friends and family were buying the T-shirts and buying the stickers, and some were even just putting in money, and not, you can put in money and not do a reward. So that was cool to see that, like people putting in $100 and didn't want anything in return.
Wow.
They just wanted to help us out. So yeah.
That kind of stuff. That's exciting. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you kind of touched on it a little bit in the beginning, where, well, every time you get a pledge, you obviously get an email, but then there's also the follow-up questions. And I guess a lot of the campaign is like the monitoring and I guess answering questions. How did you guys go about that? And do you have any like strategies for that?
Yeah, I did all that. I took that upon myself.
Wow.
That was a tough job.
Wow.
It takes that's almost a full-time job to just answer everyone's emails.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're a product like ours too, and there's a lot of technical specs, and people want to know if we can do this, if we can do that, and we got a ton of questions.
Mm-hmm.
We just went through and knocked them all out. We tried to kind of group things and do updates if people were asking the similar questions, like do an update and say, hey, we've been getting a lot of questions for this one thing. Let me address this, and this, because these are the main things we get asked. And, building out the FAQs was important. And so when people ask questions, like you just send them a link, like check out the FAQs to find out more information.
Okay.
And, so you start to, you start out obviously not knowing what people are going to ask. And then you start getting the questions and just address them in to as many people as you can as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So we get these questions, we kind of filter them out into the, what are we getting asked most, and then we do an update and we do like a big thing in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would hopefully catch people that aren't backers and people that are backers, and then hopefully we get less of those questions and the FAQs. So putting it all as good as you go through. So it starts to slowly kind of like pan off as you start addressing all those questions.
Got it.
Usually they're simple. Yeah, there's usually simple questions. So yeah, you can handle it. It's not that big a deal. It's just the updates, letting them know. It was tough to do that because when you have a campaign that's running for a certain period of month, you're not going to be doing an update every day about you guys in the office working. We might be on the computer all day, like answering emails and doing this and that, and who wants to hear that we're doing that? But you just gotta, let them know where you guys are at, where the product is, and we had some challenges doing that. People were getting upset about, we'd go maybe 2 weeks without doing an update, or a little bit longer, and it's just because we were working. We were just working on getting things done, and it was hard to just do people really want to know that, hey, we just put in an order for motors and they should be here in X amount of time? Maybe they do, but a lot of them, you don't want to spam people either. So
yeah. So it's definitely that balance.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Every once in a while, I would say you do. I thought this would be kind of cool, is to do like a end of the week update every single week. So it's like one email a week. This is what happened this week on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We went through and we did this, and this. Like, this is where we're at. This is what next week looks like, and you'll hear next week about what happened during the week. So that doing it that way might actually be more productive.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, your goal was 49,000. You guys reached just under 650,000. Can you go a little bit into the whole stretch goal strategy, and was that very helpful for you guys? Did you guys have stretch goals already planned out? Can you discuss a little bit about that?
Yeah, we didn't have stretch goals. Well, actually, we did have a few that we were talking about. We didn't know if we were gonna obviously make the stretch goal. You have to hit certain benchmarks to even consider saying, hey, we're gonna throw out a stretch goal. So, but we did have a few of them in the mix, and we got a few ideas from some of the backers. like, hey, would you consider this as a stretch goal? Would you consider this as a stretch goal? I mean, that's what's great about Kickstarter is you get people that are giving you immediate feedback, and that feedback is so valuable. I mean, these are the first people even seeing your product, and they're telling you this, and this, which means you can change it or update it or do things. I mean, people even gave us ideas for parts of the machine before it was even out there and in people's hands. So yeah, we sort of took what people were saying about the stretch goals, and we some of the ones we had as ideas, and we crafted ones that they had, and we built stretch goals based on that. And we actually, the first printer, we now have 2 models. We have one that prints with only one type of plastic, and then we have an upgraded model that prints with 2 types of plastic. And when we went in, well, and other materials, but when we went into the campaign, it was only the one model. And people started talking about, hey, would you consider doing the upgraded model so we can print with multiple materials? And so actually during the campaign, we made that one of our models, but it wasn't originally a model, but that was directly influenced by the people talking to us about, hey, if you guys did this, you would, I think you guys would be more successful. And so we're like, okay, how do we do this? And we kind of talked about it, and we did some engineering and figured out how to make this work. And then we were like, okay, we can do this. Then we uploaded that as one of our machines, and people ended up buying that one more than anything else. So
definitely the crowd helps you out a lot there. It's kind of like reach out to the crowd, give feedback, and then either yes or no. And if it's a yes, then we'll give it to the crowd and pursue.
Find out who's active. Find out who's active on the comments section. There's a lot of people that are really active, like almost more active than you guys might even be. And talk to those people. Email them, personal message them. Ask them. I can see you're been extremely helpful and commenting and even helping people out with questions. Like, do you have any feedback for us? Is there something that you think we could do? And they'll tell you exactly what they think. And you almost like build like this close group. You start to see like and we still actually work with some of the guys now that were some of the first backers. One of the guys is hosting all our forums now, and talks to us all the time. And yeah, he's sort of part of the team, and he was there, one of the first guys as part of Kickstarter. So I was just backing our project. So yeah, really, really harness those people that are very active on your campaign page, because those people are going to be good resources to find out what you need to do.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the post-campaign. I know a lot of the times people, there's issues with shipping on time, and there's also the whole, now we actually got to make the product. Can you go a little bit into, what, if you guys had any issues, or, your little, the day after you successfully funded your campaign, what was your first steps?
Yeah. Okay. So we ended our campaign, and we definitely estimated deliveries terribly, and that's something you got to be completely realistic. You got to hash that out with your team and say, what's it going to take, and prepare yourselves for the literally best campaign success ever. For things you couldn't even imagine. If you think you're going to sell 50 and then you end up selling 20,000, like, be prepared for 20,000. How are you going to make that work? And so we based our first estimated delivery on 50 units, which is what we were hoping to sell, 50 to 100 units, which we could have met if we hit that because we had things in place. But then when we had to scale everything up, that took months to scale that whole thing up, and to get all the manufacturing in place and to get the molding done and all that. So we were just prepared for the bottom end, and when it turned into a much more successful campaign than we thought, we totally were completely screwed on our estimated deliveries. So we keep everyone informed, throughout the process, and we're still delivering product, and it's been 9 months since then, and it's just. It takes a long time, and you're not prepared. It's kind of a weird system because a lot of the people going on here aren't experienced entrepreneurs. They're people with products and ideas that are really grassroots style that are looking for help, and then they end up raising. Some people end up raising $1 million, $2 million, and you're like, these guys. You're talking about guys that started in a garage and they're raising $2 million, and they got to deliver all these products now. So it's good. It forces you to get your stuff together and to get moving, and so that's a good part about it. But yeah, I would say, be completely realistic on your estimated deliveries. If it's going to take you 6 months, put 6 months. You don't want to be the campaign where you're getting people asking you all the time, where's my stuff, where's my stuff, where's my stuff, where's my stuff. You want to be the campaign that's like exceeding your estimated deliveries. Like, people are upfront, no, it's going to be 6 months and you deliver in 4. That's where you want to be, because then people are super excited about your product and they know you guys have your stuff together and they're going to recommend your product to people. So that's what I'd say. The other thing I tell everyone with Kickstarter campaigns is know your shipping costs. We got absolutely destroyed in shipping.
Wow.
Our product is a big product, and shipping it is expensive. And it's hard because depending on how many you sell, you can partner up with shipping carriers and get discounts based on that. But you need to know that price of shipping, 100%. Whatever it's going to cost to ship here and then do to 50 different countries if you're going to do international shipping, and kind of average that price out, because we're basically paying someone $100 in South Africa to get our product. So there's some areas, it's crazy. There's some areas, and Kickstarter only lets you charge one shipping price, which is crazy, because if you know anything about shipping, like it's depending on different zones, some zones are going to be $500 for our product, and some zones are $100. So it's just and everything in between. So try and average out that shipping. Know you're going to take losses in certain areas, but be prepared for it in margins. And then win in other areas. So charge what you need. And we won on the domestic side. It wasn't as expensive to ship domestic, so we did make a little bit of that money back that we lost in the international. But yeah, just be prepared on the shipping side. I think that's really important. That's where we lost a lot of money. Our product's bigger, but yeah, you really hash out those details.
So 2 things, basically. Overestimate on your actual delivery date is definitely a good thing, and then also very, very look really in depth into the shipping costs, because that's going to be something that's definitely going to be an issue.
yeah, exactly. Be prepared for especially on the estimated deliveries. Be prepared for some hiccups in the road to get your product to where you want it to be. We ran into a lot of hiccups manufacturing. We had to fly to China. Manufacturing guys in place, kind of hash out some details, and so that wasn't expected. And so there's a lot of things that are unexpected when you're building a new product. If you have it together and you have your manufacturing ready and they're already cranking out products for you, it's much different. But if you're starting with the base product and you're like, hey, I'm gonna get this manufactured, and you think you have it together, make sure you do deliveries. Someone just told me to always time what you think it's gonna take by pi. And the rule of pi, so everything by 3.14.
Right.
Whatever you think it's going to take, expect it to take 3 times as long. And I think that's sort of important. Is really just be prepared on, and it's going to take a while longer. Okay. But we're delivering products now, so that's awesome. There's campaigns that don't deliver products, and it's scary to even think that people are putting money into campaigns and they don't know where the money went.
Absolutely.
So we're delivering products now, and people are getting a much better product than what we originally had.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So you guys are delivering products, you got your shipping down, you putting the products out the door. That's obviously, I definitely consider that a success. But I guess, where are you guys now? Are you guys still getting orders in? I mean, are you guys still marketing the product? What's kind of going on right now with RoBo 3D?
Yeah, it's since the campaign, this is another good thing about Kickstarter, is if you have some success on Kickstarter, you start getting a lot of resellers interested and a lot of distributors interested overseas, and people start seeing your product, and you get some visibility on that front. And so you kind of gain credibility if you're looking to do some distribution or even trying to raise some money and stuff like that. So that's always good. I mean, since then we launched. I mean, the day we ended the campaign, we launched our website, and it was sort of all a pre-ordering process. We said, hey, this is our product. It's going to deliver in 6 to 8 months. If you're interested in buying it, you can pre-order here. And we've been selling ever since, really steadily, which is crazy to me that people are spending. I mean, that's another thing that we're like, wow, people are willing to wait this long to get a product. That's insane. Like that's in a great way. I mean, that shows that we have, we built a really good product. And so we're still selling them right now. We're kind of patching together some distribution agreements with some people overseas. I actually just got back with a meeting with Costco, which is really exciting.
So Costco?
Yeah, Costco's interested in the product, and that
huge.
was crazy. We're partnering up with them slowly. We'll see how that happens. I'm going to be, doing a demo at one of their store grand openings, so that's really exciting. Kickstarter is a platform, and if you end up having a successful campaign on there, it's a platform that can take you to the next level without having to go raise $1 million and give up half your company.
Right.
You,
So it's definitely
and
opening doors.
yeah, yeah, it's a huge selling point. You're pre-selling your product before someone's even seen it. And if you're selling a lot of them, then that's much better than saying, "Hey, we raised $1 million and we're giving up half our company." But people have obviously put money into it because
they believe in it.
You know, yeah, exactly. So
got it.
It's definitely valuable.
That's exciting. So,
Yeah.
would you guys say you came out of success? And I guess in terms of profits, are you guys, would you say you're making some money here?
No, we're not making money. And part of that is our fault.
Right.
It's our underestimating our deliveries. So it's our fault. And when you're pushing things, when you're going, now we have to provide for ourselves too. So we have to pay ourselves a little bit of money to kind of get by. But now we're using, since it took so long, obviously that overhead to get to that point costs a lot of money.
Right.
So we're in an office. We had to move into a bigger office because we need more space to actually put things together. And, we had to hire more people to help us do all that. And then it took a long process to get to where we are now. So yeah, we're coming, we're basically probably coming out even from Kickstarter, but we're hoping that platform, having that behind us and showing that, hey, in 45 days we sold 1,000 plus of our product, that'll lead into bigger opportunities. And so, and we're not banking on, you shouldn't bank on Kickstarter to make you, a lot of money. You should bank on it to get you a lot of visibility. I think that's more important.
Right. No, some people, obviously you want to create a product and give it out to your people, but at the end of the day, you want to build a successful business to sustain yourself, and and that comes with obviously delivering a good product and something that people want. And so it looks like you guys are on the you're on the uphill, and it looks like you're in a definitely good position. So I guess starting to kind of wrap things up. I guess, is there any thing differently you would do about your campaign, your Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah, there's a lot we would have done differently. Like I said, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of that pre-marketing hype would have been good. Going out there and doing some of that PR right in the beginning before you launch. But we got way too excited when we got accepted, and that's the wrong way to look at it. Once you should get accepted early. Like, put your stuff out there. Get your video together. If you get accepted, that's great because you're ready to go and you have a lot of time before you press that start button. But once you get accepted, now really look at get everything together. Say, are we ready? Do we have our numbers down for this? Do we set the right shipping estimated deliveries? Do we estimate the right price for shipping in general? Have we created hype around our products, and now when we launch, we're ready to go. And really super prepared. So when you press that button, you're like on it. You have someone ready to answer comments, questions, like everything is just so well, the whole thing's so well oiled that you're going to move forward, really efficiently and effectively. Right. And that's something I would have done. We got really excited and just pressed the button.
Absolutely.
That's not what you want to do.
Right. So. Well, it's obviously, I think I've heard a lot of people are, plan, but at the end of the day, there's only so much planning you can do, and you just kind of have to pick and choose your battles as they come, and then hopefully, as those hurdles come, hopefully you could get across those. Yeah.
Create your wants and your needs, I guess, is what do we want to get done before we launch, and then what do we need to get done. And if you set like a time period, it's going to take us 2 weeks to do what we want to do, and you don't hit your wants, but you hit all your needs, then you're good to go. Launch it. Yeah. Do your wants as a process moves forward, and you should be fine.
Absolutely. So, you guys are entrepreneurs yourself. Can you offer any advice to other entrepreneurs, not only in the crowdfunding space, but just the entrepreneur mindset? You guys have any any advice you can hand out? Yeah,
one of the most successful things one of the things that have helped me the most to be successful is really just daily planning. Really simple, but it's tough for people get really sidetracked on things, and I find myself doing that. I found myself doing that a lot. I put on way too many hats when I was starting the business, and I was trying to do all the Facebook stuff, and I was trying to get sales, and I was trying to do all this and marketing and answer emails, and it was just like, dude, what am I doing to myself? There's way too much stuff. I can't do all this. And so really prioritizing my tasks into a day, and I always say, and I read this in a book, and it's really just kind of stuck with me, is really set, 2 or 3 tasks that you're going to get done in a day, and don't stop until you get those done. And then if you have extra time, then get less prioritized tasks done. But making sure that you plan out, and I always try and write my stuff following day in my book. Like, this is what I want to get done tomorrow. It's usually fresh at the end of the night. Like, hey, I need to get all this done tomorrow. Write all that stuff down and get those done. You'll be surprised at how big of a difference it makes to have a plan of what your day is going to look like. If things come up, that always happens, but to have that set in place and say, this is what I'm going to get done, it almost is more satisfying to you, because you get to cross something off.
Right.
And yeah, so that's what I always tell people that ask me about how do you do this and all this, and obviously just persistence. Don't let something, you see competitors out there do something cool, then do something better. You find a bump in the road, figure out how to get around it. Don't just let it depress you and be upset about it. Like, say, no, we're going to figure this out, and whatever it takes, we're going to make it happen. So those would be the few things I would say to keep on top of, and just keep yourself informed. I mean, there's so much to learn. I'm learning stuff every single day. Talk to people. I have quite a few mentors now that come in, and just I talk to them, I ask them questions. Learn from people that know more than you do, and surround yourself with people that are smart. Yeah, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. I think that's really important, because they can give you a lot of tips and advice.
Awesome. No, yeah, definitely appreciate that. There always some inside advice from people who are successful and on the road to success is always helpful. Good. So I guess how was your crowdfunding experience? How would you rate your crowdfunding experience?
My preparation level was a 1. And how it has helped us is obviously a 10, but
okay.
It was all in all, regardless of what happens, it kicks your butt into gear. And it's gonna, if it doesn't do well, then you're gonna be like, all right, what if you have that that drive and that passion for what you're doing, you're gonna be like, what do I need to change to make it better, or what do I need to do to make it appeal to people? Do I need to change my marketing? Do I need to change whatever it may be? Really hash that out. And then if you're we weren't prepared, but that forced us to get our stuff together and gave us some funds to get our stuff together, which we did. We wouldn't have been able to do that without Kickstarter unless we raised a bunch of money and gave away our.
Right.
So experience. Yeah, I would never take it back. I'd never say I wish I could go back and not do Kickstarter. There's a few things I wish I would have done better, but all in all, you can't be mad about raising some funds and kind of getting everything together. And I've been doing the business. It's been about 10 months now, and we've been funding our enough to get us by for 10 months. So I'm working for myself for 10 months, which is great. I don't have I have my own hours, which are usually way more than I would if I did a corporate job. But
right.
I'm in the office. I'm with my friends. We're having a good time. We're building cool stuff, and we're enjoying every day. So.
Absolutely. I think that's the most rewarding experience right there, Definitely.
Most definitely.
So, what do you think? Do you think we'll see you on Kickstarter again?
We were just talking about that, actually. We have our next model in the works right now.
Wow.
So it's weird. We're working on the next model. We haven't even shipped all the original models to everyone, but we have to think about the future. So we're considering, but we might go a different route depending on how things move forward with some of the distribution channels that we're trying to get into and whatnot. It might be a better route to just go that way than to go through the Kickstarter channel.
Gotcha.
But if we do Kickstarter, we're gonna be way ready for it. So
absolutely,
I know that we've learned a lot, and so we'll be ready to crank down, and it won't be a mess like this original one was, as far as everything we estimated and whatnot.
So any insight you can give us on the new product, or is it
model?
The new model?
It's gonna be pretty insane. It's gonna be pretty insane. We're actually trying to do yesterday was a big day for us because we just started working on how we're going to craft this whole product and how we're going to bundle it, and I think people are going to be pretty blown away on what we're doing with this one. It's going to be fairly similar to what's out there, but what we're offering in a box and everything that comes with it is going to be like I mean, you're not going to be able to find another product on the market in 3D printing that's going to have what we have in our box. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm excited for it. It's going to take a while. We're probably not even going to launch the thing, I would say, until summer of next year, officially. But it's going to, yeah, we're bringing on some good guys. We're bringing on some former HP engineers, and
wow.
Some a really good team. We're kind of crafting around it. We're getting like an electronic sports specialist and some firmware specialist. So we're gonna put together a nice package. So
wow,
I'm excited.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
You call it's gonna be insane. So that's a good way to describe it. And I'm excited. I'm sure you guys are excited. And I wanted to thank you for spending some time with us today.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
You really give us some good background information, and it looks like you guys are doing well. And we hope to hear about the new product coming out soon.
Yeah, my business partners are calling me because they don't know where I am right now. they don't know I'm in a car right now in an interview, so I'm gonna get back to it. So
absolutely. All right, we'll get back to it. Thanks for your time, Braydon. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.